Hello, welcome back. Tonight I will continue to speak about Galactica, which is a collection of grimoires written by me, put under the name of Galactica. It is a digital product. All the books can be bought separately in paper, but the collection is in digital format, and this is a recording for Galactica. As I've said, it is part of that description about what the volume is about and what type of books, what type of grimoires I speak about. And in the last recording we are speaking about the part that was like similar between the different grimoires, or of course contradictory, some type of comparative work between the different symbols or elements that appear. To say, well, there are some similarities, there are things that appear in all of the grimoires, but in a different way, in a different, with a different meaning or a different type of thing, but one can recognize them if one, so to say, meditates on the thematic as well. The other thing to say, well, I don't know which one are more interesting, the similarities or the contradictory parts between the characters, because of course they are very different. In the same time, well, both are somehow relevant to talk about. And I do think there are, of course, similarities somehow that, as I've said, repeat themselves in a different way now. So, well, if we take the element of the wind, it does make a difference how the wind is presented in the scene. It gives something to the scene or to the character, or it speaks about something as well, So, well, the environment is part of the story, or a big part of the story. And so I say, well, the environment tells the story as well as the character. And the little differences, how to say, make big differences, It's like, well, if we take an element of the water, so well, in this grimoire, the element of the water appears like this grimoire appears in this way, or it can appear in different form. Then, of course, the colors, or what type of landscape, what type of environment. Is it sea? Is it river? Does it flow? Is it white? Is it black? Is it blue? Is it what color? What type? There are many little nuances, And those nuances, of course, are very pleasant to the writer, those nuances, because it is almost like the tapestry of the book, Say, well, I do have a design in mind. It doesn't matter if I take now blue or green or yellow or what material I am working with. And I did speak about each grimoire separately for each one recording, where somehow I presented a few of those elements as well as the specifying things, that are connected to the character. So, to say, in the same time, this is very more like classifying things, like, well, okay, 1, 2, 3, and here, but it does not give that that flow of the book, that story necessarily. It's just like objects or facts or situation or different scenes. It's like how I created, how I create the book, or how I create the grimoire. In the meaning of what else comes after that. So, well, this is more like an understanding scheme, of the different aspects of writing. But the thing that, of course, most important is the voice of the character. And so, well, the voice does not appear all the time, So in some grimoires, the voice of the character appears very much, in some very little, in sometimes. Sometimes with a lot of repetition, sometimes with different, or in different situations or different scenes, as well as the element of the language, the element of that part of the dialogue, or part even of a monologue. So while the character speaks, the character describes something, no? So that's the part of the book, no? That somehow the scenes lead to that part. And to explain it better, to say, well, we have a environment, a room, whatever, no? So well, one can describe it perfectly and still not be poetic. So how one makes it poetic, no? So well, it is not a place necessarily, it can be different. It is the ambience that a writer is able to create in that scene. So to say, well, let's say, what is the point of being descriptive? Why should it be descriptive type of scene or not? It depends on the story of the character, no? That's why important that the writer knows the story beforehand, before writing it. So, all these things are important, no? To say, well, the element of the wood, in which form the wood appears. Does it appear as a tree, or does it appear as something sculpted? How the tree appears. Is the tree lonely in the landscape? Is the tree part of a forest? Is the tree by the river? Is it on the mountain? Is it a fruit tree? What type of tree it is? That speaks too a lot about the environment, no? Of course. So it's almost like seen as clues. So say, well, if I cannot say how old this character is, or what the origin story is, or how, whatever question one has, no? There are clues, there are things that one can observe and find some ideas, no? It is that aspect of the book that is created for the characters, no? So even the writer has some questions. You say, well, that part is important. If I will not have questions, the one who reads the book will not do. It is part of that element of the writer too, questioning the story, or questioning the scene or the character, no? And sometimes these are more obvious, sometimes not. There are scenes which this is very obvious, and there are scenes where not. Or maybe there are scenes where not a lot happen, or maybe there are scenes where a lot happen. There is, of course, differences in the scenes as well. And that the magical aspect is, carried by the element of surprise, of the wind, or the element of that nature, that somehow brings that element of magic in that landscape, no? So, to say, well, the imagery in the book has to be that worldly or outer-worldly, and how it is described, how it is shown as well. What type of differences there are, or how the room, how one describes a room, how one describes a house, or how one describes, the temple, or what things are shown in that place. What is there sand? Is the temple looks old? Does it look ancient? Does it look, what characteristics, what inscriptions, what type of architecture, what type of stone, what type of, what type of trees are in that area. And so, or do we have the element of the sand, or the element of the wind, or the element of the strong sun, the heat of the sun. And of course, these all carry meaning in the grimoire as well. So it is connected to the character, and it is a part, that somehow is presented together, and it is presented in such a way that it does carry, as I've said, the character and the story in a way that speaks in a certain intensity or not, no? So well, we can have soft intensity. It does not have to be strong intensity. There is such a thing like soft intensity, no? Or this element of the elements that appear as well. To say, well, the element of the wind always brings a change. The element of the wind is almost, well, the wind is a messenger. No? Or say, well, the element of the water is transforming, or the element of the water is very magnetic, no? Or whatever animal symbol or anything, no, that one has in a book, one can of course find meaning as well. And I think that a part is very important for somebody who wants to write books, because that's the part to say, well, the questions receive answers, no? The idea of the book, or the idea of the grimoire, no, always to say appears first, and then it's almost like the meditating on those elements, no, and so, having that, so to say, very clear or very much in mind, and then it's an element of the writing part, no. And for the grimoires, so, well, the writing part is interesting because, of course, each one have very interesting story, as well as the pleasure of working on the text, on the element of the writing, no? That it is very pleasant, it's very interesting as well. And then it's to say, well, that part that say, well, creates the story as well. And for the grimoires in general, it takes longer because it is, as I've said, a larger thematic, and one has to somehow choose from the larger thematic a specific way to tell it, as well the ability of the writer to write the story in a certain way that somehow, say, fits to the character, no? And there are of course very many different aspects in the grimoires. For example, if we have the element of the snow, so well, in some grimoires we have more the element of the snow, the element of the cold, or if it's the wind, we have the cold wind, or if it's the element of the water, it's the cold water, no? Then we have grimoires where the thematic is more like the sand, the hot, the desert, the dry land, the sands, the softer wind, no? As I said, well, some places are more by the sea, some places are more cold environments, or some places are more, I would say, almost like not in this world, no? Or some places are maybe hidden or not shown, or does not know for sure exactly, or maybe it's a representation of a temple that one has seen or has appeared in history, no? But one cannot really say where, which place, and which name or which time. So it is to say, well, the place not necessarily has to be named, no? The place is too enigma, or can carry some form of mystery around it. That is part of the story as well, if that's what the story is about, no? Mm-hmm. So the element of the desert, we always have the element of the cave, which can be seen as the element of the door. So, well, the desert is empty, does not have any door. So, well, the desert has doors as well, no? So, well, the element of the cave is the element of the door. Or we take the element of the earth. So, well, the earth is black, is it red, is it what type of earth, is it wet, is it dry, is it sandy, it is dusty, is it wet, is it with grass, is it, the forest. It's like it speaks to, of course, a lot about those elements, represented in the character, as well as, of course, for the landscape. Or we can take the plant. Well, how is the plant? Does it have big leaves? Is it more dry plants? Is it very green, very luscious type of plants, or what type of plants are there? And the element of the sand appears a lot in the grimoires as well, so that it is a part, that's the ancient story. The element of the sands, it represents a specific place, as well as specific beauty and specific we'll say environment, or the environment creates the environment, the atmosphere, the ambience I was talking about. So that is essential for the story. That's why that place, or that's why. So it's the landscape tells a lot about the story, if one thinks about. But of course the interest is not necessarily the landscape, as I said, the interest is the story and the character. But it is, of course, for a writer, essential, it's almost to say, that the story is most important, the character second, and the ambience, the third. Sometimes the books enter with the element of the ambience, with the element of the atmosphere, and then it moves into the character, and then it moves into the story. At the same time, the story is number one. Of course, the grimoire opens, it is already the story. But that said, all these three steps are interchangeable. Sometimes they change position, or say, well, the grimoire has more free type of schema of correlating the scenes. And the element of the black appeared all the grimoires is element of the same with the element of the light, but of course different type of black, or different type of white, or different type of imagery, or different type of landscapes. That all creates the beauty of the grimoire as well, that ambience that is made from those nuances, from those detailed differentiating of all those beautiful elements surrounding the character, surrounding the scene. And I think that part is very detailed in the grimoires. This part, it is very pleasurable for the writer as well to describe that, say it is something something that creates almost like a beautiful aura around the character. It creates something special for the character as well. So, of course, the ambience is very important. And of course, when we say the sands can be understood as a longer type of journey. It takes long to traverse the desert. The deserts are very large. And the presentation of the character, at the moment he appears first in the book, very important, the moment he starts to talk or speak, That's always when there are points which are highlights in every grimoire, or every, there's that most important scenes or important parts of the grimoire. In the same time, I tend not necessarily to give the character necessarily say the character is the most important. And I'd say no, the elements of the presentation is more important than the character. There's always a highway or higher better way, or better modality, or a better understanding, or a higher understanding, or a further step. No, it was not to say it is not necessarily the literal work does not function only on fixed rules. To say the artistic part is even more important, as I've said, than necessarily the grammatical part, because there is a certain freedom for the artist, for the writer as well. It is well the expression of that feeling, or the expression of that book, or the expression of that language. And we have certain type of colors that are very representative. For some we have the color blue, some is more like color green. As I've said, the thematic of color appears often, or the elements of nature as well, or elements of that environment. And the grimoires, we say, well, they are more different than similar. Of course, I did not necessarily, of course, write them to be similar, because they are not, and they have a lot of contradictory elements, and even though things that are similar, they are still different, differences in it. There's always differences in those aspects, and I think it's because the characters are very each user are unique and very important, so it does not take from the others. It's very it's almost like, well, grimoire like, or grimoire, it's that part of that darker, so gothic style, that creates some type of tension, or creates some type of elements in the story that say, well, when you're outside in the night and it's a little foggy and you're not able to see, it's a specific ambience. That to say one pays more attention, or one is able to understand more, one is able to connect or have some type of realization as well. And so, well, the fog is very almost like hallucinating, is that element of the fog, or dream-like, or something like the dream, or something like, well, is it dream, is it vision, is it memory, And the element of the language too is very interesting for me as a writer. The element to say how I create that poetic or that lyrical part, depending on each word, depending on the expression of those words together as well. It is something that I like, and to say, well, I think that what gives my books a very nice quality to them, especially the grimoire, because they're written in hymn form, so they do have this lyrical part. And I do invite, of course, for you to read from my books, or check out my grimoires if there is one to say, well, it is interesting, or you find appealing. I do recommend, of course, they're my opinion, great books, and the Galactica is a digital product that I sell as well. It includes all my 11 grimoires, and it can be bought and it can be used as a digital product, like books to be read on your laptop or computer or phone. So it does have that, it is not in paper. The books are separately in paper, but this collection is a digital one. So the books, as well, of course, one can speak a lot. There is a lot of interesting aspects in each of the grimoires. This was more like a little comparison between those, or some of the aspects that somehow are interesting. Thank you so much for listening. I will continue another time. Thank you. Bye.